hello. Welcome to the December numerology forecast. I'm so happy you're here, and I'm like a few days late, but at the same time, that's December for you. It's a three energy month. So the energy in December is going to ramp up in ways that you might not even be able to believe. Three is loud, it's active, it's the law of momentum, it's the snowball effect, it's adding fuel to the fire, it's creative amplification and expression. So, what three really wants for us is to speak what's on our heart and minds, and to know that when we speak something into existence, that's how it can begin to create form and shape and take action. So, the number three, that's what December is all about. And recognizing that December is the last month of 2025, obviously. So we're closing out on the nine energy year. And, as a little recap, the nine energy year has been all about breaking cycles, breaking patterns, surrendering, and really choosing to release those things that might have been holding you back or might have been causing you to struggle, to suffer, to go through difficulties unnecessarily. Whether it's like a story that doesn't serve you anymore, whether it's a limiting belief or a habit in your life or a relationship in your life that is keeping you small, keeping you stuck, or not allowing you to evolve to what's next for you. So closing that out. Now, when you combine that with the three energy for December, it's really asking, can you express your truth? It's one thing to quietly surrender. It's one thing to notice, like, oh yeah, that's going to be ending in my life and I'm going to draw some boundaries here. It's another thing to speak it out loud. So December is the month where you actually start to kind of create that and move it forward. It is a time to gather. It is a time to be with people. It is a time to come together, recognizing that where two or more people gather, there's going to be an amplification of energy. So it's a great time to be setting intentions, to be doing pitches and proposals, to be doing presentations, to be asking for your needs to be met, for what you want, that kind of thing. Really letting yourself be heard. And because we're transitioning into 2026, wow, there's also this energy of, what is my fresh start going to be? And you might not know yet what that's going to look like, because it's a one energy in 2026. If I haven't made that clear, it is all about those new beginnings, and being very leadership minded. So now is the time to just start to talk about it, to share some ideas, and to experiment with the creation process. So what does experimenting with the creation process look like for you? It might be talking about your dream with someone. It might be writing out a business plan. It might be reaching out to people to brainstorm with. It might be, even if you're like, I don't even know what I'm creating yet, that's okay. Like, engage in a creative hobby. Maybe you take up painting or dance or movement, or maybe you join some kind of club, right? Whatever you do, I strongly encourage you to do it with people. Because one of the opportunities you have for the month of December is making connections with someone where there's an opportunity that can be born of it. And if you don't tell people what's on your heart and mind, whether it's sharing your values, sharing your vision, they don't know that they can invest in that. They don't know that they can contribute to that. They don't know that there's not something there for them. And so be willing to say it out loud, right? That is the core energy of December. So I'm going to kind of get into some of the details as to, the specifics of what's coming up. And I'd love to hear from you. As you're tuning in, say hi, let me know you're here. Share this out on your profile to other people, whether you're listening to me live or on the replay or on the podcast. My name is Megan Alton. I am the economist turned numerologist. So I am a business coach. I help people expand their business, but because I'm a numerologist, I'm also very skilled at making sure you're doing this from an energetically aligned perspective. And we can also take a look at the codes that you might be working with and figuring out how to use them to your advantage, combined with the strategy to get the results you want, right? Like, all around good things. So let's get into the details of December a little bit. First of all, we really kicked off the month with this energy of like, what are foundationally the pieces we need in place to support us? And so, this to me really speaks of like habit stacking, routine, and rituals. What are the habits you need that allow you to express yourself? And maybe it's a matter of I need a coach, I need support, or I need a teacher or a guide, or maybe it's like in the homework prep that you do to really allow that sense of like, here's the structures I have in place to support me, whether it's notes, whether it's, whatever you need. And so I think recognizing that anytime you see somebody out there boldly and confidently speaking the truth, they're not doing it out of nowhere. They've practiced, they've trained, they've had some level of discipline that allowed them to feel free in their expression. And you can do the same. And sometimes it's a matter of having those little, expressions in your back pocket that will support you in times of difficulty and times of challenge. So what those are for you, that remains to be seen based on your individual needs. But some of the ones I like to work with are, using kind of like principles of nonviolent communication, whether it's saying things like, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I'm experiencing. Tell me more about your experience. Tell me more about your feelings, and really coming from that place of curiosity to get the conversation rolling, but also to help people drop defenses, especially in something that could be challenging or conflict, or the defense mechanisms can kick in. Okay. So let's see. Willing to have repair conversations, willing to be heard and to not shut down, willing to say the vulnerable, risky, and difficult thing in the name of authenticity and repair and connection, I think is key this month. Because the 3 is so high energy, rapid paced energy, you might notice things are speeding up. And that can feel overwhelming and stressful. And so if that is the case for you, dial in your self-care practices and your nervous system regulation practices. Limit your screen time. Go for walks in nature. Drink lots of water. Engage in grounding practices and activities. That is going to be absolutely key. The other piece I want to say about that is the shadow of the 3 is anxiety, overwhelm, and being worried, right? It's this internalization of your thought process that comes out in like anxiety. So if you're feeling anxious in the month of December, I invite you to ask yourself, where have I blocked my expression? Because chances are, if you're feeling anxious, there are words that need to be spoken or boundaries that need to be set, and you have hesitated because maybe you didn't want to hurt someone's feelings, or maybe you didn't want to rock the boat. That's valid. That's okay. But guess what? Your feelings matter as well. Your experience matters as well. So you can lovingly and kindly, ask for what you need, lay down those boundaries, but don't internalize it, because that's going to be the recipe for that anxiety, that stress, that overthinking, that mental thought looping. So if you're feeling it, take that as a cue of there's a conversation to be had with some courage, with some bravery, with some boldness. Okay. And, my favorite way to do this is to honestly say things like, I am feeling, fill in the blanks. I'm feeling frustrated, overwhelmed. I'm mental looping around this situation, around family dinner, around my workload, around my messy house, whatever it is. I would love to hear from you. Share with me your experience. Tell me what your experience is. Tell me what you're feeling. What are your thoughts around this scenario? And get them to share with you their perspective, because it's amazing to me how many challenges can be resolved very quickly when everyone has the chance to feel seen, heard, and understood, right? So that's the cue for you if you're feeling those like mental looping, anxiety type thoughts. Now, going forward, particularly on the Thursday and the Friday, we have a lot of big energy coming in the next couple of days, the 4th and the 5th of December. And this is very much a time to go inwards, listen to your intuition, and do something with that information, whether it's an action step or a conversation with someone. But what's really wanting to happen, particularly on Thursday, is an intuitive knowing or a gut feeling about something. And I want you to listen to it. And when you receive that insight, I want you to do something with it. Take the first step, take the first action to really help activate that and move that forward. Because then when we go into the 5th, there is a potential for you to reach a level of devotion, commitment, and mastery where you'll hit that flow state energy, right? And that energy is such a good feeling energy that we're often seeking it out. So that would be the 4th and the 5th of December. As we move into the 9th, there's going to be some conversation around the 9th. Particularly, I want you to be aware of the conversation, your internal dialogue, your internal narrative, and the stories that you're telling yourself and the stories that you're sharing about yourself. I peeked ahead into 2026. I've already done my first 2026 forecast with Mintu in her podcast, which isn't going to be released until January, but it invited me to go and look at the next 12 months and to see what they hold. One of the biggest opportunities we're going to have in the first few months of 2026 is to reinvent ourselves and our identity. And we have the opportunity to reinvent ourselves at any time, right? Like this, you don't have to wait. You can do it at any point in time. But what does that mean to reinvent yourself? It means that there are things about me that I believe are quote unquote true. This is who I am. I am this kind of person. I'm this kind of mother, friend, business owner, woman, that kind of thing. This is who I am. Now, there are times when that story of I am the kind of person who, fill in the blank, there are times when that story serves me and it helps me to move forward. But then there's going to reach a point where that story starts to put a cap on what's available to me and it starts to limit me, and that story needs to evolve. And on the 9th of the month, we have an opportunity to recognize where we might be telling stories that don't serve anymore and how we can shift into a story that will be more supportive and more of service. Okay. So really tuning in, like, is this, I get this feeling that it's going to be like, you're in the middle of a sentence of like, oh yeah, so I always do X, Y, Z. And as you're saying it out loud, you like catch yourself and you're going, oh, do I always? Do I always want to? Is there something else available to me here? And you have this like bing light bulb moment where you're like, I am going to stop saying that because that is no longer my truth and my reality. And that's actually a really powerful opportunity, because when we move into 2026, these are the things that are going to start to anchor in the new vision that we're creating. I'm sorry, I have a tickle in my throat, so I need to keep sipping my water. So bear with me. Okay, where are we going next? Oh, hello, Vicky. I'm so glad you're here. Yes, the reinvention energy, man, it's big right now, and it feels, I don't know, I'm excited for it. I think that we're ready for it. I think that people have felt like they're kind of working against the current, and I think we're ready for some forward momentum flow. And I feel like that is really kind of what's on the horizon for us right now, which feels great. So the next day I really want to bring to our attention is the 12th of December. This is a very big karma energy day. Hello, Kenzie. I'm so glad you're here. Yay. So the 12th, a very big karma energy day, and it's a very important day for connection and for recognizing who you choose to spend time with. Now, this can be interesting because on the 12th of December, I'm imagining a lot of us have holiday parties, Christmas parties, gatherings, social functions as we move closer and closer to holiday time, right? So recognizing who you're spending time with and what that's doing to who you are and how you feel and the thoughts and the narratives. And I encourage you to imagine yourself to be like this, like explorer full of curiosity of like, oh, interesting. This is data. This is so curious. When I go to this event with these people, this is how I feel. And I like it or I don't like it, or these are the elements I like and these are the elements I don't like. Interesting. Good information. Okay. And then you're going to go to somewhere else and you're going to be like, oh, and now I talk to this person. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm feeling. Interesting. Good information. Take in the data, because that data is going to be super, super relevant for you to, make adjustments you need to make, have refined boundaries where you need to have them. but it's also going to come back to head in January. So just noticing, because energy is contagious, and because energy is like, when two people come to a room, you'll recognize this. When you come to a room with someone and you spend time in someone's presence, what's happening for them is going to influence you. And what's happening for you is going to influence them. So if that's the case, it's like, let's use this power for good, and let's make sure I'm having the level of influence that means something to me, that I want, that I choose. We are not passive consumers of energy. We are not. We are mindful and discerning consumers of energy and in what we engage in. So that 12th, the December 12th day, is like reminding us of that. Okay, then we are going to move towards the 16th. And again, like, I'm getting so many messages around our identities, who we believe we are, as well as how the people in our world influence that. And this is, we are who we are in relation, right? If my loved ones look at me with approval and appreciation and acceptance, I'm going to embody and internalize the belief that I am good and I am loved and I'm worthy. But if the people around me look at me with like judgment and rejection, I'm going to start to internalize like something's wrong with me and I'm unlovable, right? And so it's really important. Those are two extremes, but it's really important to recognize we are who we are in relation. And the ideas I have about the kind of person I am are in relation. And that feedback loop is critical. So noticing on the 16th of the month, what are the stories I'm telling about myself? And do the people around me help it to the positive or not? Right? Do they see me in the light of my potential, of what's possible? Or do they only see me in the light of my history and my past? And this is a tricky one, because when people look at you, they're looking at you as a composite of everything you've been, done, said, and experienced in the past. They don't see you as the person you are in this exact moment. They see you as the composite of your history. So, it's like, how do I invite in those connections that give me the gift of at least opening the door to what's possible for my future, for what I'm creating, for what I'm manifesting, for what I'm calling in? Okay. So really being aware of that, because the 16th starts off a new manifestation cycle. And as you're midway through that cycle on the 20th of December, you're going to be invited in to take a leap of faith, take a risk, change things up a little bit, because your heart is telling you something. And it might not be logical. It might be this like heart-based feeling of like, oh, I just feel I need to do something. I want, I desire. It makes me feel happy. It feels good in my heart. Like I am being called at a heart-based level to change things up, to pivot, to shift, to switch things up. And that is particularly on the 20th. And this is really cool because the 20th is leading us into solstice, which is going to be on the 21st. And again, it's highlighting relationships, and it's highlighting the relationships of who sees you to your potential, who looks at you with the little heart eyes, the little love eyes, and sees you for your goodness. So if you are someone who wants to celebrate the solstice or honor it in any way, shape, or form, I invite you to either write a letter to yourself, looking at yourself through the eyes of the divine. And it's like, if I could see myself through the eyes of the most loving, accepting, honoring being, what would I say to myself about my year ahead, about my future, about what's possible for me, about my dreams and goals? Right? If I could look at myself through the eyes of the divine, what would I say to myself? Okay. That's your solstice homework ritual if you celebrate. But the solstice celebrates the returning of the light, right? So since solstice is the darkest night of the year, the longest night of the year, it celebrates the returning of the light. And so knowing that, it's like, okay, if I am going to return the light, then that means I'm also going to step into expanding potential, possibility, what's next, what's available to me, what could be. Okay. So how do you call that forth? Number one, write the letter. Number two, if you want to go into ceremony or ritual or have some type of celebration with someone, speak it out loud together in a circle. How beautiful would that be? Maybe you could do a wish for me and a wish for you. That would be so beautiful, because when you're calling in the light, you're allowing that to grow. Just like light grows plants, light also grows our dreams, our intentions, whatever. Okay. Uh, yes, right? It's beautiful. I love it. It makes me so happy. Kenzie, I've been saying that phrase for a week now. Oh my gosh, tell me more. Type it in the chat. Rosalie, yes. What would I say to myself, right? If I could see myself through the eyes of the divine, what would I say to myself? Okay. So powerful. I mean, most of us have an inner dialogue and an inner narrative that's like a little bit judgy, a little bit critical, a little bit harsh, of like, you know, if you were only this, if you only did that, if you could only be this, if you could only be that. And it's like, hold on a second here. You know, we were all perfectly divinely designed. So like, let's remember that and see if we can come back to the beauty and the goodness and the preciousness that we are. And if we can, you know, wrap up December holding that truth to our hearts, man, are we going to set ourselves up for a really great 2026, right? Okay. What other dates do you guys want to know about? I'm just looking to see if there's any other important days that jump out to me. The 26th. I do feel like the 26th could, the 26th, the 27th of December could be a day where tensions are intense. Like it's an intense energy day, particularly at the emotional level. So if you don't want to have intense interactions, don't spend time with people where you'd get fired up. It might be a great day for self-care. Or if you are going to put yourself in the presence of other people, just mindfully choose who they are and like dose yourself in a way to make it doable. Do not overwhelm, do not overload, do not over capacity yourself. So things like walks, things like quiet time, somatic exercises, whatever is going to keep yourself regulated so that you don't allow somebody else's drama to trigger you, right? Like, let that be their thing and you don't need to get involved with it. You can sidestep it, right? So beautiful. Yes. Thank you for seeing the goodness within me. I admire yours and I'm honored to be recognized for mine through the lens of yours. Oh my God. That is the most beautiful thing, Kenzie. Nice. Yeah, nice. I love that. Thank you for writing that out for us. And then as we start to wrap up the year, it is very much focused on relations with ourselves, like my relationship with my inner self, my relationship with my inner dialogue, my relationship with spirit and with source and my guides, and my relationship with those who I hold closest to my heart. And it's really a time where, it kind of sounds cheesy, but it's so much about choosing love. Now, let me preface this by saying, like, I used to hear people say choose love, and I used to think that meant don't rock the boat, keep the peace, don't start an argument. That is not choosing love. That is abandoning yourself. You can choose love and speak truthfully and honestly from your heart without causing drama. You can have it both. You deserve to be loved for who you are and not have to contort and suck it up and button up to appease other people around you. So choosing love kind of does wrap up 2025. Wild. But it doesn't mean at the expense of what you need. In fact, choosing love is inclusive of you, your heart, your needs, and your words, and what matters to you. Like, both can be true. There's not, like, love is not a pie. There is no fixed amount of love. It's limitless. There is an infinite amount available, and the more you engage with it, the more it gets to grow. So yeah, have those brave, bold conversations with loved ones and choose yourself in it. That basically wraps up December. If you do have a date that you want me to check in to, pop it in the chat. I'm happy to do so, or send me a DM on Instagram and I'll happily look at it for you. The other piece I want to bring up is if you want to know what's happening in 2026, I am doing a year ahead forecast on the 18th of the month. You need to register for it. So I will drop the link in the description here. Make sure you sign up so you can get access to that. on the 18th. It's going to be so good. These are always very well attended, and usually there's hundreds of you guys that register to come. So I'm super excited. I've been doing these for many years now, and they are one of my favorite ways to prepare for the year ahead, to set goals, to set dreams, and to really work mindfully with the energy. For those of you who are business owners, I also have 2 opportunities to do business planning for the year ahead. So a 2026 business plan. We are doing a virtual planning session in January, and we are also doing a virtual planning retreat in Kelowna. If you are a business owner in Kelowna and you want to plan your year with me, we're going to do it retreat style in January. It's going to be amazing. So I'll pop the links in for those, and I really hope you'll join me. The type of planning we're going to be doing is going to be a little bit numerology informed, but it's also going to be very strategic in terms of what are your business goals and how are we going to help you make it happen in a very clear, concise, and broken down way. And the way I have to help you do this is honestly magical, and it will make your life so much easier that when you have these 2 or 3 goals you really want to accomplish next year, it will happen like on autopilot. I mean, it's not fully that easy. Obviously, it does require some attention on your part, but you will have the entire plan laid out and you just need to implement the plan. Like, it's going to be amazing. So if you're interested in that, send me a DM. I'll drop the links. And I really hope I get to spend some more time with you guys in the annual forecast and in one of my planning retreats. All right, sending you so much love, and I hope you're enjoying family time and holidays this time of year. And I hope I get to see you on the 18th for the 2026 forecast. Mwah. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.